Well, good day. It is still the 21st of June, 2021. Many of you may not be aware that just about every agency in the federal government has some sort of law enforcement, and that includes the Department of Commerce, which makes sense, and they have a sub-agency, NOAA, National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration. It's a mouthful to say NOAA. But what they do is it's a conservation, but a federal law enforcement position where they investigate crimes involving fisheries. So if you were to take this position, and if you were to be hired for this position, your job then would be enforcing the fisheries laws of the United States. So there would be seafood, unlawful trafficking in seafood, unlawful fishing, fishing in protected areas, that sort of thing. There aren't a lot of vacancies open, but they are taking applications from the public. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to review the vacancy announcement on usajobs.gov, and then a short video, because I really have never worked with them, obviously, and I don't know a whole lot about what they do. But, if this is interesting to you, if you want to work outside and with people who fish a lot, and you like the smell of fish, this job is for you. Okay. This is the vacancy announcement for the position. Uses a different type of pay grade classification. They have ZA. I wish they would all just do one, but 1811, of course, criminal investigator. ZA2 is the equivalent of a GS7. ZA3 is the equivalent of a GS9. And it's open till the 23rd, and has just specific locations, being in Ketchikan, Alaska, Santa Rosa, California, Long Beach, California, Slidell, Louisiana. And what you're going to be doing is working in the National Marine Fisheries Service, Office of Law Enforcement, and or a location that's negotiable on selection. But there are 5 vacancies right now, and they do basic criminal investigation work. And I'm going to put a short video on what they do, and because I've never worked with them, I've never been a fisheries special agent, and I kind of have the feeling that this is either for you or it isn't. You're enforcing the fish and wildlife laws of the United States, and preparing people for prosecution. And it looks like seafood fraud is a major problem. I didn't know that it was, but apparently it is. And you will receive LEAP. The training, I don't know what the training is. It says all training outlined by the agency. I would imagine you have to go to the criminal investigator training program at Glencoe. I can't imagine that if you do not have law enforcement experience, they would not require you to do that. And then they would have whatever they require with specialized requirement, that they would, specialized training, I should say. So there you have it. Let's put the video on.
Law enforcement plays an integral role in NOAA's mission to maintain sustainable and productive fisheries and safeguard our nation's marine resources. NOAA's enforcement officers and special agents are our nation's ocean police force. They enforce laws and regulations for commercial and recreational marine fisheries and marine protected areas, investigate seafood fraud, seafood smuggling, and prevent unregulated illegal harvesting and trafficking of seafood. In the United States, we take action on many levels to combat illegal fishing and ensure fairness for U.S. fishermen on the water and in the marketplace. U.S. fisheries enforcement efforts serve as a model for other countries, many of which do not have strong marine resource protection programs in place.
We recently concluded a 1.5-year undercover investigation where we were able to discover and uncover numerous persons that were involved in the Gulf of Mexico IFQ fishery that were literally robbing the fishery with unreported catches of red snapper and grouper. Those fish were never reported. They can't be counted against a quota. And when you have an honest fisherman that goes out every day and plays by the rules, reports his catch, makes sure the catch are legal size, and brings them in and counts them against his quota, then you've got somebody out there else doing it illegally. It's like them taking money out of another person's bank account. There's no guarantee for these people without law enforcement that everybody's playing by the rules and all the rules are the same for each person.
Law enforcement is very important to us. Without accountability, there would not be any fishery. Stewardship on our part and accountability brought from law enforcement sure makes the management plan work. Without that, it's not going to work.
NOAA enforcement officers are on the front line every day conducting inspections, providing answers to questions from the regulated community, and following up on reports related to fishing and incidents with protected species, such as turtles and dolphins.
We also have a decent enough relationship where we can walk into fish houses during non-inspection times and just discuss the current issues in the fishery. A lot of this has led to some really significant investigations.
The agency's long-term complex investigations are led by NOAA's special agents.
We were able to locate a dealer that did not have any of the proper licensing, buying fish from boats that also were not recording their catch against their quotas. And in doing so, they were taking fish out of the fishery and selling them for lower prices, unreported landings, and impacting the legitimate commercial fishermen because that quota is not being reported. Part of the investigation involved locating the dealer and getting him out of the business, and then we took the dealer's place with an undercover fishing business, and we swooped up his clientele and located the certain number of fishermen that were actually poaching in large-scale amounts, unloading them at night, and taking them off-site to sell. We indicted 8 people on multiple counts of false labeling, fraud, and Lacey Act violations.
Other NOAA Office of Law Enforcement investigative areas involve protection of marine mammals, enforcement of sanctuary laws, and the protection of endangered species. NOAA enforcement handles more than 3,000 incidents per year as they work to ensure a level playing field across the fishing industry and the protection of marine resources. Investigating and proving violations of U.S. marine fishing regulations is complex work and necessary to ensure sustainable fisheries now and into the future.
So there you have it. If you do want to apply for the job, get your application in by the 23rd. And again, there's 5 vacancies open nationwide, and it looks like the locations are pretty much, they're up in Alaska, California, Louisiana. Obviously, they're going to be on the coast, right? You're not going to have any of these in Utah, But it looks like if this is something that's up your alley, that you like this kind of thing, if you like being on a boat, this is a good opportunity for you. I mean, they do have undercover operations, but I don't think it's like real heavy lifting undercover where you're dealing with, Pablo Escobar or something. You're dealing with some guy who's just, probably catching more fish or catching fish that he shouldn't be catching at a place where they shouldn't be catching them, or violating some environmental law. So, but a good opportunity, and I think this would probably be an agency that you'd stay with. Probably treats its people fairly well. So, hope it's been informative, and certainly was for me because I knew nothing about it. And hope you have a good day.